Hi, I'm Chris Maragakis of Simply Be Retreats and Therapies. I'm a life coach, therapist and podcaster. Welcome to Mindful Mutterings. Please like, share and subscribe. And as always, thanks for listening. Hi, thanks for joining me. I thought it'd be really useful over the coming months to dip in and out of strategies that we can use to build a wellbeing toolkit. And really all a toolkit is are lots of ways in which we can deal with life, which we can deal with the stresses and strains, or we can use to be proactive, and we can use to manage our emotions and our beliefs. And journaling has become really popular recently, so I thought I'd start there because it is such an excellent strategy to have in your toolkit. You know, it's low cost, it can be done anywhere, and it has immediate effect. So the idea of journaling is just to get your thoughts, feelings, your ideas, worries, or even inspirations out of your head and onto paper so that you can create some space to think. Because when thoughts are bouncing around in our head, it can be really difficult to make sense of them or even to think clearly. And then the more confused we become, the more frustrated we get, and then the more stressed we feel, and then overwhelmed. And then we just kind of give up, and it all because we just feel we can't cope, or because the things we want to do just seem so huge. But when we write things down, we relieve that pressure and we're able to take a step back, and this enables us to think clearer. And you'll often find that solutions present themselves, or if not, at least you've got the space where you can think things through and work it through at your own time. And really we can use anything. You know, you can use writing, drawing, typing. There's lots of different ways it can be done. You can use bullet points or full sentences, spider diagrams, maybe use colours to represent your emotions, or even pictures as ways of expressing yourself. There is no right or wrong way. It's about finding a way that you feel that you can express yourself, and that helps you to move forward. And then once you've journaled, you can use that in many ways. So goals that you have can be broken down into smaller tasks. So sometimes, like I said, we have these huge goals or this insurmountable task that we have to get through, and that's overwhelming, and so we tend to give up, and then we just become disempowered. Whereas if we take a look at our goal and we break it down into smaller tasks, and then we do something regularly towards achieving those tasks, we start to feel that we're more in control. We start to feel more empowered, and then when we achieve these small tasks, obviously our confidence grows, and that builds our resilience, and it makes the bigger tasks seem less daunting, and we're on the right trend. We're going on an upward spiral, and we're becoming more proactive at managing our life. Any insights we have can then be explored. So like sometimes you'll just get a flash of something, and sometimes you don't have the time to go with it or to see where it takes you, but if you write it down, and then maybe you use, I don't know, spider diagrams or bullet points, and that it might be that you reach a real understanding of something that is so important to you right there at that moment of your life that it changes the path that you take through life. So it's such a useful tool. It can be used for exploring difficult emotions, because once you can start to step back from them and you can see them written down, you can distance yourself a little bit from the emotion, and you can start to see if there's a pattern to the way that you're feeling, or if there's a trigger that can be identified. And obviously once we've identified a trigger, then we can work on dealing with that. And even positive thoughts and feelings can be promoted. Like when you're journaling, you can use affirmations, or things that are going really well in your life you can turn into an affirmation, or maybe expand as a goal, or maybe that's where you need to be taking your life, towards the things that are going really well for you. And so journaling is a really good tool, and it can be used to reduce stress or process emotions, reduce overwhelm, improve your well-being. It's a fantastic tool for self-discovery. It can be used for goal setting and for coming to terms with the past. So easiest way to get started is, first of all, decide whether you're going to use a special notebook or your phone or laptop, or maybe a sketch pad. Then once you've done that, get something that you're just going to use just for you and for your journaling, or set up something that is password protected on your phone or your laptop. And then find a style that works for you. You might have to experiment a little bit, and if you like free expression, then really just go for it, and whatever works for you, just get it down on the page. But if you like more structure, you might want to try some journaling prompts, and There's plenty of these online that you can find, or you can buy journal cards that prompt you, or maybe you could try, just to start you off, things like this. So describing a favourite childhood memory, or writing about an experience in nature, or maybe you want to describe something that causes you to feel anxious, or maybe you describe yourself, or even what would your life look like if you had everything that you wanted. And the point of these are not that you have to stay on topic, it's just to get you started so that you start to get things down on paper. And if you're using journaling to help you resolve a disagreement you have with someone, then try writing from both sides of the argument, because that gives you such a different perspective, and it's such a useful exercise to do, because obviously when we're having a disagreement we naturally think that we're right and they're wrong, but we might not be taking into account some of the stuff that they're experiencing, or we have to accept that they're seeing things from their belief system and the concepts that they've constructed over life. And so it's really useful if we can just step back and try and see both steps of the argument. It's really good to try and find a routine if you like journaling, so that it becomes a regular activity. And then think about what you want to achieve from journaling, and how much time do you actually have to do it, and what do you want to do, or how do you want to use what arises when you're journaling. And I would say probably the most important thing when you're doing this is to be honest, and sometimes it helps if you imagine that you're writing to your future self or to your younger self, and that helps you deal with any issues from the child within. Or maybe you're talking to someone who's passed on, so that you can express what you didn't tell them when they were here. Or maybe you can talk to someone who's upset you, and that way you get to have your side of the story and you get to vent a little bit, and then you can work out a really positive and proactive way of resolving the issue with that person. Or maybe you can talk to someone, you write down as if you were talking to someone who needs your advice, and what advice would you give them? And then when you read it back, maybe some of that advice can be applied to the situation that you're going through. You can use things like quotes to inspire your exploration. Like maybe you find a really positive affirmation and that speaks to you. Well, use that as your starting point, and then start to discover, why does that speak to you? Is that because you long to have this in your life, or is it because you've overcome something that it's talking about? And that's another really good way of discovering something about yourself. I would say keep it safe. Whatever you're writing is personal. You don't want anyone else reading it. It's an opportunity for you to get out all the things that you probably wouldn't normally say to someone else, or that you're not ready to have other people know yet. And so you don't want someone else reading it, so just make it a little bit private, because this is to be enjoyed. This is your personal private space where you're going to get to know yourself. Even if you're venting and it's just to stop you having an argument with someone else, you're already learning things about yourself when you're writing the stuff down. The fact that you're not having a confrontation and you're taking the time to journal it, and once you've written down how you're feeling about things, then you can start to really take them apart. And why do I feel like this, and why is it important to me to be right, and so many other questions that you'll notice arise when you start writing things down. So yeah, I would say most important things: enjoy it, be honest, and be free. This is the only time really that you have absolute carte blanche to be who you are and say what you want, and yeah, just enjoy everything about it, so that it doesn't become a chore. It becomes a real well-being opportunity for you to enjoy who you are and the person that you're becoming. So as always, love to hear from you. If you would like support with managing your well-being, or if you'd like support with anything that arises from your journaling, then obviously I have my coaching program. Please get in touch via the website simplybe.org.uk, or you can get in touch via email, which is cm@simplybe.org.uk, or you can message, WhatsApp, whatever me, on 07974 618 499. Whatever you're doing this week, I hope you have a fantastic one. Thank you for listening, and I hope you'll join me for the next one. Take care. Bye.